Now, we've explained the second normal form. Let's go to the third normal form. Before a table can be in third normal form, it must first be in second normal form. After that, then it must obey this rule. The rule says that there must be no transitive dependency. That means every column that is not the primary key must depend on the primary key, not on another column that is also not the primary key. I come again. If you have a column and that column is not the primary key, it must not depend on another column that is not the primary key. Right? It must depend only on the primary key. That means that if I have a column that is not the primary key, I must not be able to use that column to know another column that is not the primary key. There's a problem with this causes table as regards that. Let's look at this. If I only know the department, then definitely I can know the HOD. I can know the HOD. That means that this HOD depends on the department. Although the department still depends on the course code, right? But this HOD depends on the department. I don't need this course code to know the HOD in the real sense of it. I only need the department to know the HOD. Let's say there's course coordinator. Of course, I only need to know the course code to know the course coordinator, right? But for department and head of department, I only need the department to know the head of department. I do not need, in the real sense of it, I do not need the course code to know the head of department. That means that this head of department depends more on the department name than on this course code. Although the department itself depends on the course code, right? But then the HOD depends on the department and the department depends on the course code. So we call that transitive dependency, whereby a column that is not the primary key depends on another column that is not the primary key, even though the column that is dependent upon may be depending on the primary key, right? But the fact that a column that is not the primary key, let's say column A that is not the primary key, depends on column B that is not the primary key, even if column B depends on the primary key, we call that transitive dependency. So when there's transitive dependency, we say that that table is not in third normal form. So we need to break this table. So you pick those ones that depend on those ones that depend on themselves. You put them together. That means that I need to take these two out of this place to another table. So I can create a new table. So let's put it underneath so that it becomes obvious. So this is what we copied from this place. So we can remove these parts now. This part also can be removed. So this is how it looks like now. But there's a problem. This should not be repeated since they are the same. Right? We can remove this now. So if there's another department, we can put it under the department name and the HOD of that department. Of course, we should also be able to know which course belongs to which department. So we can say, let's come here to create a column. We call department. So these two courses, they are in biochemistry. So they are in this department. Right? So we added this so that we can be able to know which course belongs to which department. So this solves it. So we now have we can call it the department table. Now the primary key here is the department because this actually depends on the department. So the primary key here is the department. And we call this the foreign key. This is foreign key. Foreign key it's a column on another table that points to the primary key of another table. Right. This department here is the primary key here, but when it is inserted, it becomes a foreign key. It's the primary key of its own table, but when it gets to another table, it serves as a foreign key. We just use that to link the two tables together, so that we're able to know that these two courses they belong to this department. So if you want to know the HOD of the department, you can just come here and say, okay, who is the HOD of BCH 201 course? One thing we can do is we first come here, department is biochemistry, then we come here and check it's Professor Olakunle. So that is the work of foreign key. So department in this table, in this courses table, the department here is foreign key. So in this now, we say that our database is in third normal form. So you can see how a single table has been split into 4 tables, 1, 2, 3, 4, into 4 different tables. This is what database normalization is about. The first 3 normal forms: first normal form, second normal form, third normal form. Oftentimes, we usually limit normalization to this third normal form. So in the next video, in our next class now, we are going to discuss entity relationship. Thank you.